Dear students, in this video we are going to see about experiment number 8, which is about timer IC application. So you have learnt about timer ICs in your theory of linear integrated circuits. Timer IC is IC 555, which is used to produce pulses. So it is a pulse generating IC which can produce triggering pulses, which can produce square waves, and any type of a rectangular wave, any type of duty cycle you can generate with the help of IC 555. This IC 555, if you take, it operates in three different modes. One is called as monostable mode, the second one is called as astable mode, the second one is called as bistable mode. You have to know the fundamental difference between all the three modes. In astable mode, no state is stable over here. State in the sense high state and low state. So no state is stable in case of astable mode. Continuously, depending upon the operating conditions, it will be switching between your high state and low state. In monostable mode, one state will be stable, which means that your high state will be stable, and after a certain period of time, when the conditions are overcome or when the criteria is met, it moves to the next state, which is low state, and immediately when again the criteria becomes changing, it goes to the next state. So it goes to its original state and it will be remaining in its original state. So this is what we understand by monostable operation. In monostable operation, one state will be completely stable, the other one state is quasi-stable. You cannot remain in the next state, you have to again go to the your stable state. In bistable mode, both the states are stable. Only after giving a pulse you can move to the next state, and again after giving a pulse you can move to the next state. So that is called as bistable mode. In this experiment, we will be learning about monostable operation and astable operation. The circuit diagram of monostable operation you have learnt earlier in your theory. The same circuit I am going to use it over here, and here you can see in monostable operation you need a trigger input to trigger your IC. I mean, to switch over from one state to another you need a trigger input. Okay, in astable mode no triggering is necessary. Automatically, depending upon the values of your resistance and capacitance, the state will be continuously changing. So it is, your astable is also called as free running vibrator. Here in this monostable, in both the cases you have got design values. So here let me go for the monostable multivibrator. The monostable multivibrator design value is that your output pulse with TP equal to 1.1 R1 into C. Okay, so I can decide what should be my output pulse width, and assuming one value I can decide the next value. If I feed this to my circuit, I will be getting the desired pulse width. For example, let me take my pulse width to be, I decide the pulse width to be 0.55 seconds. Here I assume the capacitance value is 10 microfarad. On substituting over this equation, I get my resistance to be 50 kilo ohms. Okay. Now what I am going to do here is that I am going to substitute these values in the Proteus software. I am going to build the circuit in Proteus software, substitute these values and check out what is my output. Let me go here. This is my Proteus software. I have built the circuit in Proteus software. All the components are put over, and to energize the circuit I have used a battery of about 12 volts. Yes, so the capacitance, the design values is substituted. You can see here capacitance is 10 microfarad and your resistance is 50 kilo ohms. And to give a trigger pulse I have used a pulse. Pulse is used over here. A pulse is used. The pulse width is taken to be 50 and frequency is 5 Hertz. I can change this to be 5 Hertz, or let me take it as 1 Hertz. Anything is fine. Yes. So now let me start my simulation. On continuously, you can see that when the pulse width is going to when the pulse is continuously change, depending upon your high and low output that is produced, your LED will be continuously blinking. That shows that it produces a high and low state. Let me see here. You can see your LED is continuously changing its state. It is continuously blinking. You will have a high state and a low state. And to see the waveforms that is going to appear across your capacitance and your output and the triggering pulse, I have connected a scope. Let me go to the scope over here. Yes, so this is my scope. You can see that your output happens to be this. This is my output, and this is the first waveform is my capacitance waveform. The second waveform is the waveform that appears across your output pin 3, and the third one is the pulse what I am giving as input to your trigger pulse and the trigger that is given over here. For example, now what I'm going to do here is let me change the frequency. Let me stop the simulation over here and I'm changing the frequency. Let me change the frequency as 5 Hertz. Okay, let me see what actually happens here. Yes, your LEDs, now you can see that your LED is blinking again. Yes, let me go here. I'm opening the scope and this becomes my, so the pulse width is changing. You can see that this is 50 Hertz, but since the frequency is changing, so you can see the pulse width and your capacitance waveform, both the waveforms are visualized over here. Let me pause the simulation. Let me run it over here. Oh my God. 1 minute. Yes, so now you can see, let me measure the pulse width. So this is my output pulse, this is my capacitance waveform. Try to reproduce this in your waveform, in your record note or in your manual, in the record what you are going to produce. Now you can see here, this is my time period. Your time period in this case is, you can see how many boxes are present, and one box carries for 0.1 seconds or 100 milliseconds. So you can measure how many boxes are present. Let me adjust this. Yes, so you can see one box, 2 box, 3 box, 4 box and 5 box. 5 boxes, full boxes are present, and the last box is half the box. So it is about 5.5. 5.5 into 0.1, you will get it to be 0.55 seconds. So whatever you have designed, that is my design time period. You have designed your time period to be 0.55 seconds. The same time period you get it over here. So your simulation, your design parameters is achieved, and whatever is desired, the same thing you get as output in my scope. Yes, so this is the operation of monostable multivibrator. A similar thing can be carried out for your astable multivibrator. Let me go here. The design parameters are designed. I have taken the design parameters as this. Your RA is taken to be 6.8 kilo ohms. Your RB is 4.7 kilo ohms. Your capacitor is 0.1 into 10 power minus 6 farad. So you will have your high time period is 0.82 milliseconds. Your time period, low time period is 0.325 milliseconds. Your duty cycle is obtained as 0.29, and your frequency is obtained as 88.88 Hertz. Okay, the circuit diagram looks to be very similar. The only difference is that you do not have any trigger pulse in your astable operation. No triggering of your triggering pulse is required. Only this circuit is needed. Let me quickly go there. 1 minute, let me open the circuit. It is astable operation. Yes, both the circuit will look to be more or less similar. Only the difference is you do not have any trigger pulse, but 2 resistance to be present. You can see 2 resistance 6.8K, 4.7K and capacitance of 0.1 microfarad is present. So here again, continuously your LED will be blinking depending upon the pulse that is generated over here. You can see, yes. So this is my depending upon your charging and discharging of your capacitance, your high state and low state will be changing. Okay, so your capacitance is charged till 2/3 VCC, you will have your high state. Once it is charged to 2/3 VCC, it will start to discharge. So here discharging is going to happen. So here discharging will be there for till 1/3 VCC. Then it goes to 2/3 VCC. Then 1/3 VCC. So this is what you get in case of your astable operation. Okay. Now let me measure our time period over here. We have said that our time period for your quickly. Yes, for high time period is 0.82 milliseconds. Let me see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 boxes are present, and 4 into 0.8 milliseconds you get it over here. Okay, 0.2 is one box time period, so 4 boxes are present, so you get it to be 0.8 milliseconds. Similarly, your low time period, let me see what is the low. For low time period, your time period is 0.325 milliseconds. So let me see what happens in our waveform. So how many boxes are there for your low time period? One complete box is there, and for the second box it is half the complete box. Yes, so it is 1.5, so 1.5 into 0.2, you'll get it to be 0.3. 0.2 plus 1, 0.3. 0.3 milliseconds is available. So whatever you get in theory, whatever you have designed in theory, that is about 0.8 you get it in practicals, and 0.3 you get it in practicals. So more or less your design parameters is achieved in case of your astable operation. So these are the two operations that by which you can generate pulses in using your 555 timer. So here in this case, try to understand, if you change your resistance values, your pulse width will be changing. Your pulse width will be changing on changing your resistance values and your capacitance values. Yes, so this is about astable operation. Similarly, if you go for monostable operation, let me go there. In monostable operation, you can change your again by changing your resistance and capacitance value, you can change the time period of your time period of your pulse. Okay, try to understand this experiment, and if you have got the software, try to simulate this experiment and check out whether you get this answer. Yes, fill up the tables using this graph and complete the experiment and submit your record. That's all for today's this experiment. Thank you so much.